Okay, so in my book, The Anti-Marketing Manifesto, How to Sell Without Being a Sellout, Chapter 4 is on measuring the right things, and I'm talking about metrics. And the thing with metrics in your business is sometimes the most important things aren't actually like directly business related. They're more personal related. So right now I happen to be tracking my macros, aka macronutrients. And so I have a goal to like create a certain physique for myself. So I'm kind of, working on it. Have a ways to go. But in the last 8 months or so, I've dropped I dropped 25 pounds and then I gained 5 pounds back, and I've been like battling with my macros. So I'm on this like coaching program, and I got a set of macros when I first signed up for it that were really low compared to what I was eating previously. And I was on that set of macros for about 3 months. And then my coach dropped me down to an even lower set of macros. And if you don't know what that is, that's your calories, your carbs, protein, and fat. That's your macronutrients. So I'm supposed to be eating a certain number of grams of each one of those per day. So protein needs to be high, carbs needs to be lower, fat needs to be low. So, and it's based on my body type, it's based on my goals. Everybody's different, so everybody will have different sets of macros for what they want to accomplish. But the idea is you're eating less than what you were previously eating, and you're like shifting the macronutrients around. So previously I was eating too much carbs, too much fat, not enough protein. So the goal was to increase the protein, decrease the carbs, decrease the fat. And for like the past month, I've been on this new set of macros, which is like lower than what it was previously. And I just completely revolted against the program. I would be eating like 2 to 3 times per day what I needed to eat per day. So I was really bothered by this. I felt like I had like no control over this. I'm like, I literally can't fucking control myself in the moment of when I want to eat something bad that's going to fuck up my macros, and I feel like I can't control it. So I expressed this to my coach today on our group call. And of course, he's like great at giving you the perspective change right away that just sticks with you forever. So he was basically like, yeah, you need to go look at pictures of starving kids. So I did, and I felt like I was going to cry because they're horrendous. They're awful. He was basically telling me I need to change my perception of what I think, hungry means or starving. Because I told him I felt like I can't control my eating, right? I plan out my day, I plan out my meals in advance in such a way that I would meet the macros. So early in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner. Boom, done. And then around dinner time, it's like I start to negotiate with myself and start to want other food that doesn't fit the macros. So I'll like eat, other shit. And the amount of money that I waste on junk food and excess food that I don't need is like sickening, right? It doesn't fit my budget. It doesn't get me to my goals at all. So I told my coach this. And, so he's like, go look at pictures of starving kids. Like, change your mindset around this. Like, go donate like $1,000 to some charity that feeds starving kids. And I think that was the perception change that I needed. That was like a smack, right? And just like realizing how much that I actually have versus somebody that actually doesn't have like anything. Seeing that and understanding that there's a difference between the two, that should change my perspective around it. And I wanted to share this because I think we all have a goal. We all have goals that we want to reach. We all have things that we want to do. And if you're like not meeting your daily things that you know you need to be doing to meet those goals, it's like there needs to be some kind of perception change in your mind, because you're not seeing things clearly. You're not being grateful for something in your life. But going back to the metrics, measure the right things. I'm measuring my macros every day, and my numbers aren't matching what my program says I need to be doing. I need to be hitting a certain set of macros to reach this goal. I'm not doing it. I'm consistently eating more than I need, more than what the macros are. And that hungry feeling is actually not like the worst thing in the world. So I try to make it so that I'm feeling hungry earlier in the day. So I'll like wake up, I'll have my first meal with protein, a little bit of carbs, and then that'll last me a few hours before I physically start feeling hungry. And usually in the morning I'm working, right? I'm doing work, so I'm distracting myself with that work, and then I can ignore the hungry feeling for a while. And then later in the day, as I stop working or as I'm not doing something with my time, that's when I become more susceptible to the overeating. So I have to like measure that and like make sure that I'm structuring my day in a way where I can actually adhere to these low macros, which really aren't low compared to kids in like other countries where they don't have any food. Like, so having that perspective change, it really does. It puts things into perspective. Like, I'm not hungry. I'm not starving. I'm just not. When I feel like my body is craving food, like I can feel it, my stomach's growling, and I feel that physical hunger. But to be able to endure that and to not cave into eating something, and this is just temporary. This is not a permanent way of eating. This is not even a diet. This is just a set of macros. So it's not permanent. It's temporary, but I need to be able to like meet it, like do it temporarily, and then know that there's an end date at which point I'll get to reverse diet, right? Eat more. But there's like a certain way to do it where you're getting the outcome you want. And this is mindset training. This is like mental conditioning, toughening me up mentally, emotionally, so that I can handle actual challenges in life. Because one of the things that I'm trying to change my mindset around is that, food it's just food. It's actually not hard. So, previously I'm like, oh, this is the hardest thing in the world not to eat. Well, that's kind of bullshit, because it's not hard. Like, try going in somebody's shoes who literally doesn't eat for days and months and whatever. Like, I don't even know how they survive that long. I don't know how these kids, like if you Google starving kids on the internet, it's fucking disturbing. I don't know how they even survive like that. I think I can't survive one night without eating a bunch of junk. That's bullshit. So I'm glad that my coach called me out on that. And that's the benefit of like having a coach to work with, is that they can help you change your perspective. Like, that shit, that is intense. Sometimes changing your perspective, which you hold so dearly and so tightly, and you think you're right, and you think you're standing on some kind of solid ground, and you're really not, because your perspective's like fucked. So, that's the value of having a coach. But anyway, I wanted to share that. I think everybody should, have their own metrics that they're tracking, things that are important to you, that you need to be doing, that your conscience is calling you to do and you want to do, daily actions, daily things, whatever it is, like, how closely are you adhering to that? How much are you respecting yourself that you're actually doing it, tracking it, measuring it, and do you have the right perspective to actually make sure that you do it? So, it's not just about, making sales in your business, boom, done. It's like, no, what kind of a person are you as you're making these sales? What kind of a person are you being? How are you showing up? How's your health? How's your physique? How's everything as you're doing your business? That's all very important stuff to consider.